now that you have seen the binder in use, I am going to share this requested video of this reading binder. I have shared with you all previously this phonics binder. For those of you that took the time to watch the video, I appreciate it, and I appreciate the feedback, and glad to know that it was very useful to you all, because everything that I shared in this binder, how I put it together, the resources are all 100% free. Just need to download and print and basically put it together. And I shared how and why I use this binder. So like I said, this next one is a requested video. Phonics, very important in teaching reading. So after we move from this binder, and there is reading in this binder, don't get me wrong. This one, someone asked about what do I do for comprehension. So that is what I'm going to share, comprehension. But first, bring you all back to this. If you did not see this video, this is what you see in the thumbnail. I shared these brain banks. These are a big part of our comprehension. So you can go back and watch that. But very, very, very fun. Awesome. The kids love them. I love them. They're just a no-brainer. And yes, quite pricey. I did not pay the $125 per kit, but well worth it. So there are 6 of them, and these are science and social studies based, all the way up to grade 5. So yeah, just I wanted, to include this to let you know that this is it for a long time. We really don't need anything else, because these things are chock full of comprehension, along with a lot of other things that I have. So just like the phonics binder, what I did was compile some of the best comprehension resources that I could find. Some of them I have been using for a while, years, and I have actual double copies because I would let them write on them and things like that. So there may be 2 copies of some in here, but I compiled them all in one place so that I could have them in one place. Sometimes we just need comprehension checks, and the kids may, basically, if they need a break, or if you feel that they're just not comprehending, reading is something that I think is very essential in schooling, period. Reading, if you did nothing else in school all day, is but read, that is, I'm listening to my kids in the background. That would be the thing I would say do, is read. Put all your time in the beginning, the early years. Read, and comprehension. Build their comprehension. There are things that you can do to build their comprehension. Once they get, first grade, second grade, comprehension should go beyond read the chapter, tell me what happened in the chapter. They should be able to tell you certain details. They should be able to identify certain feelings in the characters. They should be able to identify settings. They should be able to identify with the characters themselves and give it back to you. Okay? And reading alone is not going to do that. And some children are not as good as others at being able to give it back. Okay? So in this binder, there are some, it's all hands-on, it's all fun, nothing intimidating, just little tips that I use to train them. And the same as the phonics binder, it's something fun and engaging to train them, and they enjoy it until we pull it out when we need to use it, just like you saw, and work on it. So the first thing that you need for this binder is a binder. And when I first started, I did not have it in a binder. I think when I shared it in the live chat, it was not in a binder, it was in a folder, because I had not actually sat down. I was doing other things. So now it is in a binder. But everything was compiled in that folder. You need highlighters. You need page protectors. You don't need a whole lot of them, because you basically can erase them, move them around, or overhead sheets, or laminating sheets, or what have you. And I don't suggest laminating all of them. You can use the open laminating pouch and just slide it over the page. You just need something that you can write on and erase, as you can see here. So there's probably a couple in here, but so this starts out, it's a progressive. This starts out for the 3-year-old. Kindergarten Connection is where I found these, and basically I will put the page protector over the page, and she would read. Now, there are a couple things that you can do in here in addition to reading. If you are working on phonics still, which you should be, if they're working on comprehension, have them highlight the vowel sounds that they hear in these passages. Okay, that will just bring to life, because a lot of times, and when the children are reading, we get them the impression that you give them, oh, they're reading on 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade level, that they're comprehending, and that's truly not the case. A lot of children may very well read at a higher level, but that does not mean that they are comprehending, nor does it mean their fluency is up to where it should be. Okay, I have taught the children phonetically, and they have learned very early to read, and because they have learned phonetically, I can give them any grade level, and they are able to read it and comprehend it with no problem. So just keep that in mind. That's where a lot of the problem comes. You hear, I hear my child is struggling in reading, or he is, not a reader, or she is slow, and it's the technique, it's the comprehension that is holding them back. Okay, so here we're working on the at family. These are all found again on Teachers Pay Teachers, and a lot of these files are very hefty for free, so you get a decent amount of pages that you can work with in here. I didn't have to use any other resources. So if you don't have the brain banks, or we use SRA, the Hooked on Phonics original, for comprehension. If you did not know that, I also did a full review on the original Hooked on Phonics and why I still use that cassette version for the SRA portion for the comprehension. Well, we use the whole kit, but and that's how my kids have learned to read. And I used that kit when I was in school. So if you don't have any of those resources, you can tap into Teachers Pay Teachers. So that's what it is. But they read the story, and this is the Ike family, and they can draw a picture. So you tell them what to draw, what they think, what something that they read about in the story. Excuse me. Like I said, this is my 3-year-old that does this. Here we have the app family. There's no picture on this one, so they're not drawing anything. But again, you want them to highlight here. You may want to let them highlight certain words and things like that. So you want to have a couple different highlighters. Alright, here we have, this is one that I have been using for years, and I would let them write on it. Catherine Albany, she is very nice kindergarten teacher on Teachers Pay Teachers. So you read the short passage and answer the question. So, what kind of animal is Fluffy? Cat or dog? And obviously this is very low level comprehension. Okay. What does she like to do? What can Fluffy do? This is where you want to start them off at. So again, like I said, you may see two. This one is on football. And what I like to do with these is every day until you know they understand it. Typically I will say a week, and you will see some of these things are geared for a week's use. One lesson. You do the same lesson for a week just to make sure they understand it, because the repetition is what builds that comprehension. So over here we have read the story, answer the questions, and on this one you have your 1, 2, or 3. So it's geared for 3 days. Okay, so each day that they've completed, you will highlight the day. And here they are too, so you can use different color highlighters, or you can use markers or what have you to you know, use your codes, change them. You know, it really doesn't matter, because if it's dry erase or wet erase, it will come off. But this is what they do. What is the cat's name? What does the cat look like? So very short passage. All right. And I believe this is all in the same packet. This one is Ig, the big pig. The big pig is. So they are going to fill in the blank on this one. Okay. Gary in the grass. It's about Gary the snail. And learning about what colors of grass, what will Gary eat, that type of thing. So you're getting some handwriting in here, a little handwriting practice. GR sound. So you will have them highlight the GR words. Alright, here we have the AI sound. And sometimes I have my 3 and my 5-year-old do these together. So I do keep 2 copies in here. This one comes from here we go, a Teachable Teacher 2015. Let me go back and make sure. Yeah. So again, and here your happy faces, 3 happy faces, 1, 2, 3 days. So what it does is it'll build their confidence. You know, the first day they do it, the second day, by the 3rd day, oh, they've aced it. You know, and it just, yeah, and they're able to go into whatever books you have them reading from, and they've got it. You know, remind them, remember when you did this exercise? Let's do it the same way. This one, Itsy Bitsy Fun. It's about Henry the Mouse. What did Henry decide to do? What did he pack first? What color is his suitcase? And who is Lisa? So basically they're just reading a sentence. Each sentence has a question. Goldfish. Mice. Passage is a little bit longer. And Lisa and Henry. Cats. Alright, next one is Teaching Blizzard. Send. 2016. Let me put that in a frame. Alright. Read the text 3 times for fluency and color the stars. So they get the little stars each day to color. And they have, again, some writing practice. So I think there's probably about 4 or 5 of these. It turns different here. They are going to read the text 3 times and color the stars. Here it's sequencing, so they have to put the picture in order. that matches the story, and then there's a little fill in the blank. So all one packet. Alright, here again, all one packet, I believe. I can read, so they read 3 times, and it's focusing on A. Okay, and it'll tell you highlight the sight word A, circle the sight word I, underline the word blue. First read, second read, third read. You notice I do not recommend using colored paper. Some things I do use Astrobrite paper, but when it comes to comprehension, take away the color. That in itself sometimes is a distraction, and I have a lot coming up about that. Down to the schoolroom itself. Yes, I'm going to share the tour soon. But check the picture that matches the story. So, and they're working on that. So I like this little packet because, I mean, look how much I was able to get from one little packet. And a lot of these are samples, but they're so hardy that you don't need anything else. I don't have to go and purchase anything from anybody. Not that I don't want to, or I have things on the list, or I haven't, but this is enough. This is plenty. Alright. Move it along here because these are pretty much the same, but like I said, this is a pretty big packet here. And here we have Brittany Marie, and they are going to read the passage 3 times and color a crayon each time you read. So use your highlighter or the crayons that they color. And here's the beginning, middle, end, things that they need to know if they are kinder especially. Sequencing events. They're going to write 1 to 5 on the line to sequence these events. And this is just, you know, in itself, this is awesome. Just like if they're reading a book, you want to ask them what happened first, what happened second, what was the problem, what was the conflict, what was the plot, the setting. There are ways that a lot of times we don't think the ways that we're asking the children the questions could be throwing them off. And, you know, the comprehension itself. So, these get a little bit longer. A little more than just sight words. Talking about how tall giraffes are and how much they weigh. And you get your color your crayons for 3 days. And this one is you draw a picture of what is in the story. Bird feeder. The zoo. Fred the fish. Alright, here we have Missing Tooth Grins. And this is the one that you all saw the kids doing. We use this different ways. I think my son did it a different way than my daughter did it. But it's different ways you can use it. But basically it's the SH sound. And then they get the writing portion of it. So get some handwriting in here. And basically this is it. I don't overwhelm them. If we're working in the binder, they usually will not need to, you know, go on into a reading lesson or anything. We just work through what's in the binder. So we have Ben is at the park. They read 3 times and color the star. Illustrate the text. Alright. This one comes from Mr. Carbo, and I think I have a couple things from Mr. Carbo I like. For material. you get some vocabulary words, and see, we do a lot with vocabulary words. That's another part of our comprehension. My children use a dictionary. We don't use Google, and they actually do vocabulary out of the dictionary. Okay, so you get a picture, get the passage, and this was actually meant to be a cut and paste. We don't use it that way, but they do describe or tell me what the word means, or I will make them look it up. They will write it down. We highlight certain things in you know, in these passages. That way I know that they're understanding, whether it's she has compound words in here, there are ed words in here, things like that. I will pull out things myself. So they are to underline the setting of the story, and then draw 2 mental images that they made. Here they're underlining the definition of a particle and write 2 questions they have learned about the beach. Get the word popular, particles.
I got 3 bars.
Oh, nice. Here they're going to underline the sentences that tells how Jen feels about her snow day, then draw or write 2 things she did in a snow day. So that is optional. Like I said, this was meant to be a cut and paste, but you can have them talk about it, or I also keep a whiteboard sheet. I don't have one handy, but I just have a laminate piece of paper that we use alongside this, because they may come across words that they don't know, and I have them write the word down. This one comes from Ainsley Carl. It's about a new pet, and they are to read it. And again, you can modify if it takes them more than twice. You know, 2 days, go 3, 4, 5 days, however long it takes them to get it, but typically 5 days is enough. They're going to find and highlight the answers in the book. What seasons did the story take place? What did they do first to prepare for the pet? These are, I think, we've moved into first grade. First grade, yeah, I think these are first grade. I think the last ones I showed you moved into first grade. Yes, they did. But again, you can, you know, use them for whatever grade you need. When you look at them, they will tell you the grade. Now, these are done by Lexile level. If you all are familiar with Lexile, I don't code my books. A lot of people use the AR system. I don't do that. You know, if children go to the library, they typically are not coded AR. And again, my children are able to read and comprehend pretty much any level. So I don't do that, but that is what this is. It is very important to know fluency wise. So there are 158 pages, or words, pages, words. The kids distracted me, sorry y'all. So on Monday you want to write down how many words they got correct or incorrect. It's also, you know, Lexile's telling you how many words per minute they're reading. Okay. Again, you know, you want to get their fluency up. Just because they can read it does not mean they're fluent. If it takes them too long to read it, or if they're struggling through you're having to tell them too many words, then they're reading too high of a level. So, and here are their comprehension questions. And aliens in the water. So these are all different genres in here. This one is 281 words. This one is 185, and here's your Lexile up here. So I like that it's coded. This is a level 2 4B. So midway, yeah. And the kids are actually, they are reading fine. They have gone through here fine, 2 of them. So it is not, it's not anything difficult. This one comes from Miss Russell's Room Resource. Let's see if I can give you a, there you go. There we go. Check that out. What is this article mostly about? What is pollination? Give a reason from the text that supports the idea that bees are hard workers. Why do bees usually sting people? So these are very in-depth questions and not just basic. They make them think. And so here they're going to write down one interesting fact about honey. How do bees help farmers? Use details to support your answer. So 2nd, 3rd grade, 4th grade, this is where they should be. Same thing, this one comes from Creatively Crazy with Learning. They read the passage for 1 minute. You record on the chart how many words you completed within the minute, and then continue 3 more times. The goal is to see how many words per minute increase each time. So that is basically, you know, what these, when you're looking for these, that's one thing I forgot to tell you guys. When you are searching on Teachers Pay Teachers, you can look for closed reading, fluency passages, reading comprehension, and you should be able to pull this stuff up if you missed the names. But that is how you search for these things, and of course, you know, choose the free option. But the goal is they get 1 minute to read the passage. Okay, so anything longer than that, then they are this is definitely where they need to be, and not in other books. Don't focus on the other books until they are trained enough to comprehend. So if you're giving a child chapter books and they're not finishing the chapter books, they're losing interest, is because it may be the wrong book, but their fluency may be so low that that book is too high, and that's why they lose interest. Not that they can't read it, it's just not their level. So 213, this one's on earthworms. Alright, this one is on color cones. So some science. Here are the, there you go, close reading. Weather patterns, so again, science. So, you know, there's a lot I can do with this. We use this for science, and science is done. They got reading and science and some handwriting all in one. This one is Lexile 910, word count 252. This one's about bats. And they have their graphic organizer here. What does off the bat mean? Okay. Idiom. What do some people do if they like having bats around, and why? How large can their colonies get? Okay. What is the first paragraph about? What is the second paragraph? And so on. And see, it's broken up into paragraphs. So, there's that. Then they can do this and write a little, you know, story. Be creative. I mean, obviously you can do this in paper form, but because I'm using it for multiple children, most of the time I just use it in dry erase form. You get a couple of little story prompts here. Pretend millions of bats moved into your school and you have the job of getting them out. What are the pros and the cons? What would you do? Who would help you? What plans would you make? Be creative. So these are very, you know, detailed things to get them thinking. And so when they go back into their books and they're actually reading, they're reading with a little more understanding because they have thought a little more here. This one is by the 24/7 teacher. This one is on nutrition. There are certain words that are underlined, vocabulary words. And here are your questions here. And then it says, did you erase, restate the question or prompt where appropriate, answer in a complete sentence, cite evidence to prove the answer, explain each part of the question. This is first grade. This is second grade. So the questions are worded different, but it goes up. This is fourth grade. And then they get a little graphic organizer. Good Nutrition Month. This is an analysis. And over here, still 24/7 teacher. Lexile 450, word count 169. So obviously, if they don't know what these words mean, you need to have a dictionary beforehand and get them familiar with these words. This one is Lexile 560. This one is Lexile 630. It's talking about the spring equinox in here. Lexile 780. So it's one packet, but she has different comprehension levels, different grade levels in this one packet. And then you get your graphic organizer. So, very nice. This one is about spring. Find underlined word thaw or thaws in the text. How does the author show the meaning of this word? How does the author support the point made in the last sentence of the second paragraph? They're finding evidence and support and text, and then they get a reading prompt. Do you think anything else changes in the spring? Combine your thinking with evidence from the text to tell about other things that change in the spring. And then she includes an answer key for some of the material. So, like I said, once they are well versed in their phonics, and they are reading, and you need to move on to comprehension. And I really cannot tell you, I'm not going to put a grade or age on this, but it is, I pretty much pulled, I do have 5th, 6th, we have other I think basically everything in here printed now is 4th grade, 5th grade level. We do have other comprehension materials, but that is what's in here. And you can use it how you want it, put it together how you want. But there are tons of resources. Now, there is another source that I do use. It is awesome, highly acclaimed. It's an online source. It is also free once you just make your account. I will share that video. Thumbs up the video. Thumbs up this video and let me know you want to see that. The thing that's different about that one, other than it being online, it's geared for K-12. It is amazing. Okay, so like I said, I do have other resources higher. They're just not here. But yeah, there is another resource. So like I said, thumbs up this video. Let me know that you want to see the online reading comprehension resource, and I will get that video up within the next couple of days, depending on how many, how many comments, how many thumbs up, because I don't want to share if it's not something that that you all want to see. So yeah, but it, like I said, it's geared for K-12, and I use it a lot for my high school, middle school children. So hopefully this was helpful. Hopefully you understood. I do have other binders coming up. I have a math binder that I would like to share. We have Spanish. If you watch my organization videos, you probably saw a whole line of binders on the shelf. Yeah. So I do have other ones that I would like to share with you all, and I just need to sit down and take the time. But I appreciate the request, and I was happy anytime, you know, feel free to ask. It's the questions that you all don't ask. You know, if you don't ask, I don't know, but I may be able to help you. And I'm happy. I'm always happy to help you all in any way that I can. Yeah. Just giving back, you know, I appreciate you all supporting me throughout the years and continuing to support me. And so this is my way of giving back, sharing you these little tips and tricks to make your journey successful. So share the video, comment. Don't forget to let me know if you want to see the other video. Thumbs up. I will see you all in the next one. And somebody thumbs up if you want to see a room tour. Motivate me, guys. Let me know. Room tour. Yeah. Motivate me. Be accountable for the room tour. Okay?